Hey, I'm in Dyson Cafe. So if you're in London, you know that there's a lot of very interesting museums all around. Right now, I'm in the Dyson Cafe, which is engineering science part of the network. So right next to the Science Museum, Museum of Natural History, the Albert and Victoria Museum, and we're really surrounded by the intelligence, by the people that work hard, get massive results, make big differences in the world. So big things like giving the Dyson for vacuum cleaners, hand dryers. Or if you think about the engineering behind things, a lot of the stuff that we just generally have around the house was once invented by somebody by finding, discovering radio waves, discovering signals that come from space and changing the color from a star that's a little bit blue, a little bit red. So these little discoveries that are just little, oh, that's interesting. But making it into practical ideas, yes, that's science. That's the applied science. So why is it so interesting? Why is it interesting to learn so much and yet have a basic problem of not being able to buy a house, not being able to have everything in 6 months at a time? And this is the big challenge. You have your 3 degrees, maybe you're a doctor, PhD, medical doctor as well. You've done your 11 years of specialised study to be able to make you a specialist, and yet go to inspections, you go to auctions, and the auctioneer doesn't ask how much you've helped the earth, how much you've made a change to the community, contribution you've made in the past 20 years to science, to the arts, what contribution you made to theatre. The auctioneer, the people who are selling the house, they don't really care how much you work to get up to that stage. Usually comes to the one thing, which is the price. But this is the one thing that's going to fight on, because if you're just earning money so that you can overspend on the house, you'll be keeping yourself, because it's not always a growing asset. A lot of the scientists, or at least the ones that I work, they might get a 3 year, a 5 year, even a 10 year grant, and they're working on a massive project that's lifeblood. They love it, and sometimes they're very successful. Sometimes they're patent out of it. Obviously, they they keep a percentage, like the university keeps a percentage of the cost, keeps a percentage of it. It means that you get something that is financially responsible. But the people that I work with, like as I said, the example, if you're a accountant or a scientist, you work in a lab or you work in a hospital, you don't always get the same chance as someone else to go to the first inspection. What that means is that you don't get to see the unit, the house, the apartment, the semi on the first opening. So the first opening might be on a Wednesday at 11 a.m. And for you, Wednesday at 11 a.m., supervising laser that's slicing 20,000 fossils, discover the radioisotopes that are there. You can't do that at the same time as your same time as your um, looking at real estate things that are advertised, and especially you can't just leave the laser in the hands of the students and run off and do an inspection, come back and out. Sometimes your lunch break is very regimented. It's very restricted to what you can do, so you miss the Wednesday. But you can outsource these things. This is the big difference between somebody who decides to buy a property and somebody who actually buys a property. Because yes, you want to go from the renter to the buyer, but from the buyer to the owner, there's that one extra step. You have to be successful at the you have to be successful at the negotiation. And here's the magic, the secret, the silver bullet, magic elixir. If you can get in before other people have seen it and implement and make a decision on something, whether it's a yes or a no, but decide either way, then you are so far ahead of the crowd, so far ahead of everybody in shop on a Saturday table when you've already been thinking about it, discussing it with lawyers, and negotiating on the side, because the law solicitor has sent their solicitor a list of items that we'd like to change to agree on. And once you have that agreement, it's only a question of transferring a 5% deposit or a 10% deposit in a bank check. It's only the logistics out of that. So once you have the agreement in principle from the seller and the buyer, then you're golden. Why do so many people in very good jobs miss out? I guess part of it is ego. A lot of it is, hey, if I'm successful in writing the next theory of DNA or repositioning to make those defects a thing of the past, that's one niche that you're very good at. But that doesn't mean that you've inspected 150 movies. It doesn't mean that you're good at choosing something that doesn't have asbestos or it doesn't have um, rising dam or it doesn't have mold issues. Because intuitively you don't get that, which means that you might see something and then call an expert to come and inspect for you or give you a report. And guess what? That report takes 3 days. So 3 days later, you've now lost your advantage of seeing it before everybody else. And that's the biggest thing I'm using it. Somebody like me as a buyer's agent, of course, if you want to do it yourself, get in early, get on everybody's lists. So I get 150 emails saying, hey, this isn't with market, sit down and just shut up. Get these as text messages, as emails, and get through social media. You need to be your finger on the pulse of all those things. And if you're serious about your day job, and you can't just drop everything and start housekeeping, then you have to just leave it for your annual leave. So instead of going on a holiday to the Central Coast, take your holiday where you're spending full time doing what I do. Take full time and become a real estate expert. Just go to every inspection, every auction, shape an agent. What else is coming up in the market I haven't seen yet? What else is coming up that isn't advertised yet? Because seeing people twice a week, if you're going to 10 different real estate agents, that twice a week times 10 is 20. You can see 30, even better. So if you can see 30 agents twice a week, 60 times, that'll put you in a buying position where you can be owner. Otherwise, you're just going to be paying. So either you're paying more with your time or you organize your energy and your time to do it instead of paying the money. That's really it. Sort of organization. It's not difficult, and you don't need to be a brainiac to do it, but you do need to be able to take time off your work. So what happens if you're a nurse and you're working full time night shift happens every day and you finish work at 7:30 a.m. You'd like to go to sleep by 8:30 by the time you're home and rested, showered and changed, and the inspection is at 11:30. That means instead of going to sleep at 8:30, you have to stay up for another 3 hours and then travel back and then try to relax again before having 4 hours sleep and seeing the next patients the next night. So you're just not as good at your job if you're all of a sudden spending your time and energy doing something that takes you away from the main thing. What about if you're a school teacher? If you're a school teacher and you can't leave your kids during lunch, you can't. You're sometimes half the lunch break you're on the field supervising as a duty teacher, the teacher in charge, which means you're only getting 15 minutes to drive out some and then 5 minutes to eat your food and then you're back. That's just not practical. Either way, you're distracting yourself from your main job. But those rules only Saturday morning, and overtime is typically 9 till 1. So that's 4 hours on Saturday. You just can't cram that stuff in. And if you try to, the people that have already been there, they negotiated 3 days ago. So by the time Monday comes and your solicitor looks at the deal, it's already sold. That's why the intelligent people are missing out. Comment below, let me know, tap here and let me know below to inspections in the last 19 months. And being honest and transparent, and speak to you soon.